From classic foods to TV shows to fashions, old trends are suddenly becoming new again. Well, why is that? How does it actually impact your family? Well, joining us today to discuss is Anna Boiardi, the great niece of Chef Hector Boiardee. Yes, that Chef Boyardee, as you know him. Good morning, Anna.
Good morning.
Great to have you here. So we're talking about nostalgia. We're talking about old things becoming new again. So what can you share with us about that?
Well, nostalgia is really on trend right now, and we see that across the board, whether it's in fashion, old trends like culottes and prairie skirts and bell bottoms are suddenly hip and on the runways again. And television, old favorites like Will and Grace making a comeback. Social media, it's cool to post old photos. So everything that was old is now hip and cool again.
Right, it's retro chic. And so how do you see this era of really throwback incorporating that food that you're so used to?
Well, I'm here today with Chef Boyardee, so it's, we're talking about a brand that has spanned generations and decades, and certainly is a childhood favorite of many, and has now come out with throwback recipes. So it's taking the classics that you grew up with, like ravioli, beefaroni, lasagna, and adding more beef and more cheese and making those products more hearty, just even more comforting, more yummy than you remember.
Right, and I mean, they were already delicious to begin with. They are comfort food for many of us, certainly. And so why is Chef Boyardee launching these specifically now?
Well, it just seems, on trend with what's happening in the marketplace, and the brand is 90 years old. So it just felt like the right time, and it's the great thing about it is that it's a tribute to my Uncle Hector and to the principles that the company was really founded upon. So it's about authentic ingredients and quality food and taking the time to sit down and share a meal, all of those things.
Right. Well, we all sort of feel like we grew up with your Uncle Hector in one way or another. And so from somebody who actually did grow up with him and knew him well, what are some memories that you can share with us of Chef Boyardee?
Well, he was an incredibly gentle, kind, loving person, certainly larger than life, and extremely passionate about food and being in the kitchen and nurturing us all in that way. And but all of my memories really of him are being seated around the dining room table and having him, tell us stories of the way the company was founded and the way that he grew up, and with my grandfather and their brothers, and sharing all of that while sharing a meal. Right.
Not only that, but he had a real passion too for helping the less fortunate, right?
He did. He was he had a real sense of community, and same with my grandfather, who had co-founded the company with him. A quick story is my Uncle Hector in Cleveland every day would go to the train station, and he would always see the same homeless people, and every day he would bring them money or bring them something. And one day he went there and they were no longer there, and he went and asked one of the security guards, like, what happened to these gentlemen that I used to see every day? And he said, oh, they've been moved to a different station. And he would go out of his way to go to that other station to find them, because he felt really connected to them and connected to the community, and that was really important to him, was this sense of community. But for more of those stories and for more of the throwback recipes, you can find those on chefboyardee.com. There's a lot of great information on there and great stories.
Great. Well, all of that goodwill and all those good feelings are contained within those cans that we all know so well. So Anna, thanks so much for taking a moment out of your day to give us a little bit of history behind your uncle, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely. We'll be right back.